It's Kyrie, people. What is up, YouTube community? We are here with another interview, and we are here with Nonlinear, a Greece band. Guys, I'm interviewing people all across the world. I've done America, UK, now Greece. So yeah, big shout out to Nonlinear. Big shout out to George and Gus, who are going to introduce themselves properly. But yeah, George reached out to me to react to their latest song, Daydreaming, which should be out now. So go check that out. Links in the description, people. But I thought, why not? Let's have an interview. Let's actually introduce ourselves. Why don't we communicate? So Kyber Crew, this is for you. Kyrie Reactions YouTube channel, this is for you. So we are here with Nonlinear. So boys, we'll start with George, and then we'll go into Gus. But George, introduce yourself, please.
Hello. First of all, thank you for having us here and giving us this opportunity and through this interview. I'm George. I'm 31. I live in Athens. I am the main vocalist of Nonlinear, and it's been a year since the beginning of our band. So yeah, we're very excited with all the things we're planning, and we're here to answer whatever you want to know from us and about us and the band.
Yeah, Gus, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yep, sure. I'm Kostas, Gus, whatever you call it. I'm 25. I'm the guitarist and vocalist, the second vocalist from the band Nonlinear. Pretty stoked having us here. Let's have it. Let's go. I'm ready.
Perfect.
Let's do it.
This is amazing. This is also like new for myself in a way, because obviously I'm now interviewing bands. So it's a big opportunity for myself. So I really appreciate, guys, that you agree to it, and obviously you let this happen. But what I really want to get into to start the interview and start the conversation is your new latest single, your new official music video, Daydreaming. I've listened to it. I really enjoyed it. Your style in itself, metalcore, is very new to me, and I know that sounds very weird, but I never grew up listening to metalcore. I was an R&B hip hop head. So getting into that, obviously diving into it through my YouTube channel, I've really, really enjoyed this genre now, and you guys tick it really perfectly for me, and I really liked it when I heard the song. So I wanna, yeah, I'll start off with yourself, George. I wanna know where did it come from, the original type of song? What was inspired by that song to create it? And obviously, what does it mean to like the band members? Because yeah, what does it mean? Like, tell us a bit more about Daydreaming.
Yeah, sure. So, Daydreaming is one of the earliest songs that were ready to be composed once the band was started, to take its first steps. It's a very special song to us because it has a very, how can I say it, very unique and familiar, something like feels like home to our ears when we're listening to it. And we are really thrilled that it can mix the ferocity, the heavy tunes, and also a more atmospheric and melodic sound. So Daydreaming is mostly about love lost, maybe some people that are not in your life anymore, either it's from a romantic relationship or a friend from the past, someone that was important in you and he's not here anymore. So daydreaming is about how you feel with the whole situation, how you miss some things, and but it also at the same time we don't want to dwell as much on the pessimistic side of missing someone or missing the experiences that you had, and we would like more to focus as well at how can I say it, like it's the end of one era and another era begins. So we wanted to give a
Nice.
more hopeful message, so that it's time to move on, take all the lessons that you took from the previous relationships, the previous experiences, and now you can be free, no longer be chained to a past event, and just move on with your life.
That sounds really
So yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, that's a really strong meaning. That's very beautiful. Gus, what's your perspective on it? Would you add any more to what George has said?
I think it's kind of similar. I mean, he covered most of the stuff. It's been, I think, 2 years that I had the idea, the melody and some basic structure, and I wanted someone, to support it with the vocals that George has, which are amazing. And I wanted, when I was on a point that I wanted to have a band that can also support the melodies, the rhythms, generally the whole songs. It's for me, daydreaming. It's just what George said. I mean, I had some past experiences with with X, and it was been rough. So I think it's through this song. I think could I how can I say it? It's a relief. Just simply as that. It's a simple relief. Everyone can understand what I could say through the song.
I think
So
that's a
basically
really
that.
like yeah, I think that's a really beautiful way to look at it. I could definitely hear that with the instruments from when I was listening to it. Obviously yourself, George, you're a bit more of a harsher vocal, and then you got yourself, Gus, which is the cleaner. So it was quite hard for me to grasp everything you guys were saying on it, but I could definitely feel that message and feel that power through the instruments that you were playing. There was parts of it that really stood out. There was a middle bridge part where yourself, George, you started like doing headbanging like ridiculously on stage, which I was like, oh, bro, I love this part. Yeah, so if that's the sort of concept you guys have got for that particular song, and that's what future songs are going to be, I can't wait to see where you guys, where the future is going to be for you guys in the band. What, to be fair, Gus, you've started something which is very very important to the next questions I was going to go into about you saying you're holding the melody and creating the melody is the actual origin of you guys. So from what I've gathered from the information that I've seen is that yourself, Gus, you were the one that came over to George to say, hey, I'm thinking of obviously starting something, or where I want to start beginning creating a band where we can obviously push our music and obviously have that message of what you described and obviously show it to the world basically. So I wanted to know what was in your mind, Gus, because if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, you started
Mhm.
about a year ago. That's where your band originated. So 1 year's fully kind of gone past. What is it that made you like? What was that spark that said, "Hey, I want to go over to George and hey, let's create a band and create Nonlinear." So where did it originate?
So yeah, exactly. It's been a year, I think. Yeah, it was July, I think, when I contacted George. So I kind of knew George before. I was in a different band before Nonlinear. Um, and the previous singer had a conversation between them, George and his. Um, about a collaboration, a feature. I'm not sure what it was about, and I remember that we had some, let's say, connection. I heard the vocals from George from his previous band. I instantly loved it. So I thought, let's take a chance and see if he replies. I mean, I knew that he can support it. I knew also that some of his some of his band that he liked, it's kind of similar to mine, my interests. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. Just a
Oh,
simple
okay.
message, a simple DM. Let's go for a coffee and talk about it. Face to face, just like
So
that.
so yourself, George, you were like, if I've got it right, you were part of a different band then. So you weren't originally part of Nonlinear. Are you still with that band today, or are you solely now? Is it just purely Nonlinear now?
Well, now and for the past year, I'm solely in non-linear. I was in the previous band that I was. I got the offer, like Constantino said, to maybe join the band or something like combine my time between the two bands. And I was pretty honest, like I cannot, put two different bands on my schedule. And if anything happens, if something changes, I will let you know. So yeah, I stepped off the previous band, and I happened to talk with Konstantinos again, and yeah, we went for a coffee, meet in person, discuss more about the band, the ideas that he had for the band, and maybe some plans. How serious we want it to be. Do we want to record music frequently? Do we want to play shows frequently? And all that stuff. And since we decided that we agree to what we want from the band and how we want to pursue the whole situation, yeah, we decided to create the band. Figure out the name in the process. It wasn't non-linear in the beginning. In the beginning, it was an unnamed band, no name. And yes, and later we carried on, and we found the rest of the bandmates that we have today, and we closed the lineup. So yeah, I'm solely in non-linear now.
Wow, that must have been quite like a massive like decision to make. Depending
Yeah.
obviously how long you were with your previous band, and then obviously for Gus to reach out to you, because regardless of how long you're with your band for, whether it's a couple of months or a couple of years, there's history there, there's memories there, you connect. So yeah,
Yes,
to
of
Yeah,
step
course.
true.
away from that, that's a big step for you, George. And like to see where the future's going for your band now, the Nonlinear, is amazing. Now you mentioned a band, obviously the title of the name, so you was something else, and it was is now non-linear. I was gonna ask it a little bit later, but I don't mind asking it now. Where did the name come from? What was it that inspired you to create non-linear? This is more of an open question, so I guess it's up to you who wants to speak. But yeah, where did the band name come from? Like, who made it?
Konstantinos, you want to take the
Yeah, sure.
question?
Sure. I mean, I had some ideas, some alternatives. I had that idea non-linear, the title long ago, and I wanted to talk about, between me and you and George and another person. Um, but we worked towards that. We felt that it could describe the whole idea behind the band, which is, everyone's has experience through his life. I mean, a lot of fluctuations. So that gives it. It's a non-linear path. You don't know what you expect. You're gonna find some errors, some blocks. But you have to go through them. So
Ah,
that's
okay.
basically the idea. Yeah, you don't know what you're gonna find in your life.
I like the idea. I like it. I like it. Nah, that's really good. Hopefully, it goes exactly where it needs to go. Not more.
I
Well, I
hope.
say hopefully. We should start saying when, and like it will
Yeah.
happen. So yeah, everything will go into what working it working. I'm trying to say there's a saying, but I can't really figure it on top of my head. But everything will go as planned, basically.
Thank you.
But as I wanted to also talk about the origin, because you've explained it very nicely of how yourself, Gus, came together with George. It's the other members. So obviously yourself, George, you reached out to the other people. What are you like the other members you reached out to? So from what I can see, we got Alex, Nick, and Chris. Were they long term
Yes.
friends? Were they people you grew up with, or were they just like friends of friends? Like, how did you find them, and what was it that made everyone come together to be like, hey, let's go do this?
Yeah. So first, I reached out to Nick, who is the bassist of our band. I knew Nick not from from childhood memories or from school or something like that. He was playing in different bands at this period. He still plays in many bands, not just non-linear. But that's why I knew him, because I had played shows before with Nick. So yeah. With all this happening, we used to hang out during shows. We when we could discuss about music, and we had some familiarity between us. You cannot say that we were the closest friends, but we knew each other, and we had a huge amount of respect with each other as persons and as musicians. So yeah, when we were started to looking for other members, I thought that Nick might fit, the requirements. So I reached out to him. I explained him the situation. You know what this band is about. It's me. It's Konstantinos. I will be the vocalist. He will do guitar. Clean vocals. And we need a bassist, another guitarist, and a drummer. So would you be interested? Because Nick plays in some bands, he plays as a guitarist, and in other bands, he plays as a bassist, as the bass. He plays the bass. So I asked him, it's free. Pick your spot if you want, and you're in. And at first, I didn't think that he would accept, because it would be very normal to say that, hey George, I'm playing in like 3 or 4 bands right
Yeah.
now. I don't have the time. But he was like, yeah, sure, I want to do it. And no, by knowing Nick, I knew that he would mean it, and that he would have the time and the responsibility, to be as he should with everything that someone needs to do when he's in a band. He wouldn't abandon his duties. So we embraced him, and I later we discussed that we also need a guitarist and a drummer. So Alex, who is the guitarist, and Chris, who is the drummer of the band, are very close friends to Nick, because Alex is a childhood friend of Nick. They used to have a band together in the earlier days, many years ago. And Chris is also a bandmate with Nick in another band where he still plays the drums. So he joined very happily. So this is how the Nick actually helped us to fill the rest of the gaps very easily,
Fair.
thanks to him. Thank you, Nick. Yeah.
It's interesting how everyone was kind of like in different type of bands and everyone was kind of like doing a separate thing, but you guys have still made that decision together as a unit and individually. As you said, you knew he would commit to it. You knew he would obviously make sure those commitments were made. So it's great that everyone's teamed up together and you're going strong for one whole year. So that is the history of Nonlinear.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I want to go into your genre of metalcore. So the whole concept of what you guys are and how you play music. Now, what I want to know is what's inspired you. So, what bands inspire you today? What inspires your band to create metalcore? And why was it metalcore that why that genre was a genre you were looking to go into? Why was it a genre you wanted to make your music sound like that? So I'll ask you, Gus, because obviously it seems like you got more of like maybe I could be wrong. Maybe like the producer of the side of like of how the songs are. Could be totally wrong. But yeah, if you can answer those, so like, what's your genre of metalcore? Who inspires you today? To make the genre that you do today, and what led you towards, hey, I want to create metalcore for this band. That's the sort of genre I feel like this band wants to start doing.
So okay, first of all, I started, the past, I think 4 years, 5 years working on um, fixing, not fixing, exercising my hands, getting better to at playing a guitar. I was playing classical guitar because I've started. I think since 2006. I think, yeah. When I started, playing the classical guitar,
Nice.
and I wanted to learn something different. Something more powerful, something different. I always, listening to hard rock, metal, Maiden or AC/DC. The classic, the gods.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to get better, and I think through all these years I've been listening, the like Architects, or Era, or bands like this which play metalcore and more hardcore stuff. I want to be like them. You always have someone to make some similar stuff. So how can I say it? I believe it's one of the most powerful genre. I mean, I'm a guy that I'm not a very a loud person. I'm very close to myself. It usually goes that way, I think, to
Mm.
most of the people. So I don't know. Maybe it how can I say it translated more to my head that
Okay.
I have to work with that one. I don't know why. It felt right to me.
Fair, fair.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like that. It's one of those things that when it's in you,
Yeah.
it's in you, and if it connects with you, it just connects with you. What about
Yeah.
yourself, George? Is it quite similar for yourself? Is it something that connects with you like just naturally? You wanted to obviously make music like that, or like what sort of bands inspired you to kind of lean towards metalcore? Is it same sort of bands as Gus?
Some of the bands, yeah. I actually love Era, I love Northlane, and many other bands, Volumes, and many other bands that are in this genre of metal. Some of the people call it gent, some others call it progressive metalcore. That kind of this kind of music genres. Yes, ever since I discovered metal music, metalcore music, and I just thought to myself that this is what I want to do. I want to be like the singers of these bands. I want to learn how to practice the screaming vocals and be someone who can fill the gap of a vocalist in a band and carry it out the way that he should do it. Uh, the greatest band for me that helped me find the way and making me want to sound like the frontman of these bands was actually For the Fallen Dreams. It's not a progressive metalcore or a gent band. It's actually more like a hardcore slash metalcore.
Mm.
Um but yeah, ever since I discovered the heavier genres of music, it was like home to me. This is
Mm.
what I want to do, as long as I can. So yeah.
Mm. Now, when you said those sort of bands, and obviously you wanted to be, I say a little bit, well, unless I got it wrong, a little bit harsher. How did you? This is just me thinking on the top of my head right now, but like the harsh vocals, did you teach yourself, George, or did you learn over
Yes.
time? Like, because I find it quite a unique skill that people can like roar and still speak,
Yeah, yeah.
and like say words. I'm like, how's that possible? So,
Yes, yes.
did you teach yourself how to do that? Like, how did that become a thing?
Yes, yes. At the first years, I tried to learn it by myself. Uh, it was very difficult, of course, and there were many days that I would just blow at my voice because I didn't know where to search. I didn't know anyone until that time who
Hmm.
could, link me up to someone, to a specialist about, a vocal coach or something like that. We're talking about now 2010, 2011.
Hmm.
So it was a very new thing for me. I was just 17, 18 years old. So I didn't know. My circle wasn't yet with people that are familiar with this music and the
Hmm.
whole circle of musicians. So yeah, it was actually by myself the first, I would say, the first 5 years. And ever since, I would just get better and better. It just clicked. I just found the way that does not hurt myself anymore. And of course, in the in the later years, I started, of course, lessons with a vocal coach, a very dear friend of mine, who actually helped me even more than I could
Nice,
imagine.
nice.
Because I was thinking that I am in a level that I can stand on my own. And then the vocal coach just opened new pathways for me that I would have never considered before,
Hmm.
about stamina, about protecting yourself even more, and yeah, the techniques and the methods and the tips that help you
Yeah.
with the whole singing thing. Yeah.
There's this whole thing of like you're never gonna be like perfect because when you feel like you've reached a point, there's always more you can learn. And
Yes.
when
Yes.
everyone feels like, oh, I've achieved it, there's gonna be something that you're gonna be missing out to make you get to the next level and the next level and the next level. So yeah, getting that fresh perspective of someone else, that's amazing. What we're going to is next is your music. So you've obviously discussed daydreaming, and we discussed obviously the beautiful aspects of it. When obviously you do lose someone, you don't want to obviously think about the negative aspect of when you when you lose someone. So I want to look at well, what I want to discuss is the whole drawing inspiration from life changing events, the nostalgia aspect of obviously your music, the overcompensation, and obviously the addiction to obviously things that could be, well, it says on here the addiction to not only substance but also the new drug of social media. So what I want to know is just a bit more about that. So I'll ask yourself, Gus. So the music that you're creating now and the music that you would like to create as time goes on, as the future holds, where do you draw that inspiration from to create the music? Is it quite a similar interest to daydreaming, or is it something just completely different? Like where do you draw the inspiration to create your music?
So it came very naturally. I came with the idea first about 2 years ago, I think three probably, just with a melody that could, I think, describe the current, then at least, situation inside my. Sorry about that. Inside, inside myself, inside in my feelings or all that stuff. So I was listening to the bands that I told before, like era volumes that have that ambience, that feeling that I got from them. Just similar feeling to daydreaming. And I want to work based on those steps that those bands gave me. Like, yeah. Um, but really, it came very naturally. I think I finished the basic idea about in 2 days. I think I just didn't have the vocals or the lyrics. I was working on them in parallel. So yeah, it was kind of rough. Those 2 years was kind of rough. So that's why maybe it came very 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 easy. Yeah. Uh,
Cool. All right. Well, when you say
yeah.
like creating the music, are
Yeah.
you someone who's like the foundation of the band? Are you the person who like creates the sort of like, I guess yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
Mhm.
Foundation for then to go
Yeah.
over to the rest of the team and go, hey, this is what I've got, and then you guys come together to make the music or make the song? Are you like the person who starts it off?
Very well. The first ideas that I had, it came as like that like the way you said. We have some ideas that we're working on right now that Nick, because he plays the guitar, had some ideas also, and um he gave us the tabs where we can just exercise or practice. And maybe we could work on the structures. I don't want to say, I don't want to say that I'm the foundation. It's nice to say that I would like to say that I have the producer side also
Okay.
that you said earlier. So maybe add some stuff like synthesizers or some more some stuff that ear candy you can call it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to um I'll try usually I'll try to filter some stuff when Nick or some other people send me some stuff. I'd like to put a filter on to you know maybe how can I say it, edit some stuff or think about it if it can add to the library we had yet right now, something like that. um yeah, I think it answers. I hope it answers your
That's like that. It does. It does. It does. I guess are you Gus the producer of the band, or does it get done by someone else then?
I I have the most of the ideas come from me. I I send it to the guys. We talk about it. Maybe some of the guys don't like it. We can have some some changes. I like to have the maybe I'll come to it with a riff, and we
Okay.
work together. Maybe some other times because we have the ability to write or have a pre-production with MIDI drums, fake drums.
Hmm.
You can come up with the whole idea in these days we have now. Um,
So it's like a
and then we
collective
can.
then. It's like everyone kind of has a bit of an input, but you like to
I think
obviously
yeah.
like to
I'll try
show people
to.
some stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We can add some stuff or edit or anything you can call it. Yeah. But I'll try to come up with a full idea. Maybe it would help the other guys. Maybe the changes would be not that difficult to come to finish the song. But I don't think you can never know how a song, how a structure can can change, or you never know. You start with an idea and you don't know how it can be finished.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah,
Totally understand that.
yeah,
With the
yeah,
new
yeah.
with your new social media drug, so obviously now going into this
Hmm.
whole concept of social media, recently made a
Hmm.
YouTube channel this year. As you've stated, you guys have obviously made the band about a year ago. I guess for yourself, George, when you state the question, no, when you state in your information on your bio about new drug of social media, what does that mean? Does that mean yeah, actually, yeah. I was gonna expand on that, but I will directly ask you. I'll directly ask you, what does that exactly mean? What does that new drug to social media mean to you guys?
Sure. So, social media has been, in our lives for far too long already, and ever since the COVID era, where in most countries people stayed in their apartments, trying to stay safe. Their only connection to the outside world, most of the times, would be social media, and I'm not talking just about the with the opportunity of making a video call to your relative or your friend, to try to stay in touch and maintain your sanity a bit. I'm talking about the more dark side of social media. The overconsumption that it can cause you. All those ads, all this jealousy that might occur when watching other people that are Uh, showing their successful side of their life, and you're starting to feel a little bad about yourself. Not everyone realizes that what you see in social media is not a reality,
Mm.
and at the same time many people, especially in the younger ages, who are not very very mature yet in how they want to live their life and the whole philosophy of life, We haven't even figured out the philosophy of life ourselves, and we're in
Yeah.
our 30s. So imagine having underaged, populations with a telephone on their hands all the time, and seeing everything, and not always taking the right things inside their heads. But besides that, there are also the other, the other population, the adults, the grown-ups, who are still very attached to the reality that they see on their screen of the smartphone, and forgetting to live sometimes,
Mm.
outside of the whole. You forget to live your life, and you just watch someone else's life, and most of the times it's not even a real life that
Mm.
you are watching. You know, this is my opinion of how social media is affecting negatively. The whole planet. Of course, there are many positive effects. Because you are connected, you can find anything you want. But at the same time, anything actually has a positive and a negative side. And as a band, when we want to spread the message, we want to show the negative side and how it affects some people, and how we need to just snap out of it for
Mm.
the better for the better sake of us.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice that you said that. What surprised me the most is sometimes people like myself and everyone in the UK. So yeah, that's why I'm from the UK. If I haven't cleared it up, what is it? We get too wrapped up in our own bubble, and sometimes what I mean by that is what you've exactly said, George, is what I experience and what we experience in England. And I forget there's other countries probably do experience the same thing, and it's whatever we have can also be affected in different countries. So yeah, 100% true on that. The next part I also want to get into now is this whole about your fresh perspective of entering the scene of like metalcore, and obviously debuting your band name and obviously becoming what you are. So what I mean by that is being in Greece. Obviously, I'm not sure what I don't. I've only ever been there like once, but I'm not sure what the metalcore scene is like for you guys in your home country. But what is it like entering the scene with your new type of like? It says yeah, apologies. It said that you bring a new, fresh perspective, obviously bringing a nice balance and heavy metal progression, atmospheric type of sound. So, how do you? Because obviously, metalcore is a big genre. Metalcore's been around for donkey's years. There's been loads of bands. You've just mentioned the bands that you're inspired by, the people that you're inspired by. So, how do you bear different from the sort of bands that are performing in your country, and how do you bear different from the bands that have obviously made some form of impact in metalcore genre? I can start off with you, Gus, and then obviously, George, you can obviously answer after Gus.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, as you said, the metalcore scene it's been around for decades. Well, I believe here in Greece, we have some problems here with we have some problematics. I think the venues, the whole economic thing, the crisis and all that stuff. I think affects the psychology, the motivation of the bands. Um, and I would like to I would like for my band to be different from the others, like with the more melodic stuff. I saw I saw a lot of bands here and nowadays that they're working on mostly in breakdowns or more harsh stuff. Like to it's not bad. You want to make the people have fun in the lives in live performances. But I would like to add that melodic thing in this genre, which I think it misses here. It's yeah.
Mm.
Um, I don't think it's some people I'm gonna probably gonna say that it's kind of similar to that band. It feels like I've heard it before, but I think it's all about the timing.
Mm.
It's you probably okay heard some bands before. We got some new stuff. I don't think it's that bad. Have some fresh ideas. We have some different perspective. It's gonna translate to the people around us. Um, we have a lot of support from a lot of bands here. We have great community.
Nice.
A lot of bands play, some similar stuff to ours. We get together, we always get connected to the social media, um, and I think we would ask the thing that we would ask to be better. I think the venues, the sounding,
Mm.
to have a better experience. It's most of the venues here are old, from the 80s, from the 90s. Don't have any soundproofing, or it's bad. And that's the main reason that we would like to get out of here or play
Mm.
some live in probably in the UK, or when on, or generally internationally would be perfect.
Mm.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, I totally understand that. So it seems like I'm not sure. Well, we'll go into a bit more, but it seems like
Yeah.
Greece might not have that sort of massive support within the music genre there to obviously support those venues. Maybe, unless I'm obviously getting that wrong. It could be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that for what you've been saying.
Especially in the new genres, the more
Fair.
progressive stuff, because we have a lot of people. If a band like Maiden, or the great bands come here in Greece, you'll see thousands of people. They're stuck to that 80s,
Yeah,
70s, 80s,
yeah.
90s, genre. Which it's not bad, but you have to bring some fresh,
Fair. It's just supporting
fresh,
that
fresh.
newer genre then, that newer genre that
Yeah,
may
yeah,
come
yeah,
into the
yeah. I
scene.
think
Fair.
it needs that. Our country needs that.
Fair. George, what's your perspective of that and the question?
Yeah. So as Constantino said, there are many bands here, local bands in Greece, and more concentrated in Athens because Athens is the capital city, and there are of course other cities like Thessaloniki and other cities that have a metal community. But you could say that in population speaking, most of the community is concentrated in Athens. So it's very logical to have more bands in that area. So most bands in our scene, are focused on metalcore, of course, and we just wanted, everyone, can write their own music, do whatever they want and be happy about it and have a great time at shows. We just this time we with this band, because I've been in a band before. My other bandmates have also been in bands before, so we wanted to expand the horizon for first of all for ourselves. So we saw what was missing in our local scene, and since it's not like it was a marketing strategy, this is missing, so we're going to play, progressive metalcore. But since we all wanted to play that genre because we we have those inspirations. uh, we're like, let's do it, and maybe it will work out well for us. And so far, it has been very welcoming for the band. So yeah, and of course, it's what Constantino says that there there are the other bands, the greater bands, the
Mm.
legends. You have Iron Maiden, you have Manowar, and all the other bands. That wherever they go, even in Greece, they sold out tickets on stadiums.
Yeah.
Of course, it's great, but we also need to realize that. There's a different age now. There are more fresh things, coming from new artists who are also trying to promote their own music and are striving because it's not always, a fair fight when we compare ourselves to other bigger or greater bands, or when you
Mm.
have more financial problems in some countries, because music is a very expensive sport. But of course, the band itself has to prove itself, to
Mm.
attract people. So this is what we want to do, to prove ourselves. But we don't want also to get lost in that process. We want to be able, to feel the whole experience. So first of all, we play what we like, and then we just, want to provide the best of ourselves in the scene.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I think you nailed it. It's refreshing to obviously see that you guys get massive support from different type of people, because obviously music scene can be quite dark, it can be quite aggressive, people can obviously hate on each other, there's obviously negativity, so it's great everyone has that support. I think what you guys have mentioned, both of you, you George and Gus, is the whole like there's a new era that needs to come in. Obviously people are aware of obviously the legendary bands that get sold out tickets and sold out events, but it is a new age. And I feel like from an outsider, I don't know much about Greece, so I apologize if I like cross the line anywhere.
It's okay. It's all right. Yeah.
Fine, yeah, sure.
But when I hear Greece, from an outsider, the first thing you think of is history. And like when you say Athens, instantly I'm thinking, oh, history. So it's kind of like there's so much of Greece, and there's so much of like stuff that's happened in the past, the like Greek gods and stuff like that. I feel like now hearing it from an outsider perspective, and you guys go, people need to be aware there's obviously a new era coming. I feel like it sounds like from a guess, there's still that old history that's still there, that's still that old, we are what we are, and we're probably not going to change. And hopefully as time goes by, your band and obviously all newcomers that come into the field can change that perspective, because in England we've changed a lot of that. I'm not sure what it's like because I'm in England from the UK. We've got Scotland and Wales. I'm hoping they're quite similar on our aspect. But yeah, we're like that. We're obviously changing. A lot of new people, young people are coming up, and styles are changing. So hopefully, yeah. As I said, I hope I haven't crossed no lines. But hopefully,
No, it's all right. Yeah.
as time goes on,
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
that like yeah, we are what we are can hopefully change as the days go by. Your band can obviously make that happen. What I want to lastly grab is just two extra questions, because I'm aware of time, is to kind of see, well, what I want to establish is, how's your year been? You started in 2023, you're now in 2024. You, from what I've gathered, you haven't performed internationally, but you would love to at some point. So I take it as you only perform now in Greece. But how has your journey been from 2023 to 2024? How has Nonlinear what has experienced through performing metalcore? What I'll do, I'll ask you, Gus. I realized I didn't direct it. Yeah, Gus.
No, no, it's okay. It's fine. I mean, we were making the whole year. It's just small steps to find where we are, how we can work. Um, we had to work, our collaboration, skills between each other. We had to make some rehearsals to learn each other, how they work, how everyone works. So it basically, make connections, really get to know each other, and then the ideas after they get the ideas and make it work and start rehearsing more, like having two or maybe more in a week, rehearsal in a week. Preparing ourselves for the live performance, because I think that's what we needed. I personally needed, because I had to, last time I performed was before these last two we had now. It's probably 4, 5, or probably 6 years ago. So I was a bit rusty. Yeah, yeah. Small steps. I think I could describe it like that.
Nice.
Small steps.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about yourself, George?
Yeah, so it's very crucial at the early steps of a band, when the creation of the band, takes place. It's very essential to create bonds with each other. We want to be friends, not just, five strangers that meet up and play and write music. You cannot write honest music, in my opinion, if you do not know the other four persons that you're working with. It's a whole process. It's a team. The band is a team, in my opinion. So during 2023, ever since September, that we met each other for the first time, at the cafeteria, and we started discussing, what we're going to do, what we want from the band. We focused on the ideas that Konstantinos had, which it was the two songs that we have right now, on YouTube, Reflections and Daydreaming, that we talked about earlier. And there are also other songs that we are, rehearsing and playing live. So the whole concept was to meet up have fun with each other, try to write some music, make some pre-productions, rehearse, doing rehearsals to the studios, and when the time was right, we got an invitation to play at our first show. So
Nice.
we put that to the test. At the June of 2023, we played our first show, and it was a great milestone for us because it proved to us and it showed, also to the audience and the community here in our local scene, that we were ready for that step and that we performed the way that we should. So yeah, it was a whole preparation thing, between us and the music, and trying to find the identity of the band. And
Yeah, of
it's
course.
it's one thing to say that we are this and we want to play this, and it's another thing to actually, go more practical and do it. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like you said, Gus, that journey, taking those steps by steps, and obviously
Mm.
seeing the pros and cons, building that connection to obviously, as you said, both you collectively to build that family, not just there just to be there. I'm pretty sure, if I've got this correct, I think your Instagram's over 1,000. I could be totally wrong. Um,
I think we're below 1,000
oh,
yet.
is
We
it?
are more like
Oh, yeah, 600.
600
That's still
followers. Yeah.
good for 1 year.
Yeah,
That's
Well,
amazing.
sure.
yeah, yeah. Thanks. Thank you so much.
I don't know how to grow Instagram. My Instagram's terrible. I've done really well on YouTube. I don't know
We
how to
don't
grow
either.
it.
Don't worry.
Is I've only probably tried to push it like for the past 2 months. Yeah, it just baffles me. I asked my
You're
mates.
making content though. You're making
Yeah,
really consistent content.
yeah. I
Yeah,
started off on YouTube and it's been going
yeah.
really well. I've just hit 16K and it's been
That's
doing.
Congratulations.
awesome.
Thank you.
That's really awesome.
And I've been doing it for like a couple of years now, so it's
Yeah.
been really great. It's just I want to push that to Instagram. So how you guys
Yeah.
do it, I don't know how you do it. It's just I find that such a difficult task. But yeah, but fantastic that you've got what you've got,
Yeah.
and 1 year to
Thank you.
accomplish that. To me, from my perspective, is great. What I lastly want to talk about, to be fair, thank you as well, appreciate it. But
No, man.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
what I really want to say lastly is what your future holds. So basically, where do you guys see yourself in the next year? Have you got any plans for Christmas? Like some people like to do like Christmas songs or like Christmas like events. Have you got anything for New Year's, like for January? What does the band Nonlinear hold for 2025?
Who wants to answer first?
This is more of an open question.
Okay, sure.
So I guess I'll start with yourself, George, and then yeah, Gus,
Sure.
you can obviously answer after.
Yeah, so we would like to write even more music, and put ourselves to the test once more, and create strong music, emotional and hopeful music that can reach out, to the audience and make the connection that the band needs to have with its audience and its supporters. So yeah, that's one thing. A solid music flow, a production flow going, and also more shows to establish ourselves in the local scene of Greece, of course, and maybe why not, try to take it a step further, and maybe try to perform to a country outside of Greece. Go somewhere else, play a couple of shows, and see how that goes. We want to, just like we tested ourselves at the beginning with playing our first show and releasing music, we want to take it a step further and see if we can make the cut. But of course, we always, how can I say it? We need to have fun in the process. We need to enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah, of
So
course, yeah.
we will try to combine the two, combine our lives, our responsibilities with our interaction with the band. So yeah.
Yourself, Gus?
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, we have some ideas right now that we probably gonna work towards making an EP or an album, but gonna come out later in the 2025. Yeah, I mean, I agree to what George said. I would like to see myself maybe in the recent years, in the future, playing in another country that has a better better venues, maybe better supporters. I mean, I don't blame here. It's awesome. But expand, meet more people, maybe collab with some other people. It would be great, I think. So that's more or less the main current goal here. You know,
Mm.
making an EP, write more music. Yeah, yeah,
Well, social media is definitely gonna provide that for your band. TikTok, have you heard of it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
um,
everywhere.
yeah, yeah. The biggest form of content, the biggest form of growth anyone can get. I feel like that
Yeah,
would be great. But I got a mate of mine who's doing really well on it. There's no limitations because TikTok's designed for the world, not designed
yeah,
for like a country. So if you can find a rhythm and get on that algorithm, and if that clicks for you, yeah, social media in a year, your life can change just like that. So hopefully that ticks the box for you, and that can obviously open those doors for you to
yeah,
go into those different type of countries, perform different places. And I feel like what you guys originally done with yourselves when you reached out to people, if you don't ask, you don't get. Just
yeah.
keep on asking and asking. 100 people may say no, but 10 people may say yes, and you're still winning. So
Yeah.
hopefully everything's prosperous and everything goes exactly where it needs to go from what you guys said. You get those more venues, get those connections with the music you make to those people who like it. And then, yeah, an album and an EP does also come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, guys, it was a pleasure to speak with yourselves.
Thank you.
It's a big opportunity for me. This is very new. Me interviewing bands. You're probably my fifth or third band between that
Okay.
bracket.
Great.
So it's something new to myself, and obviously this whole interviewing thing. So I thank you for the opportunity. I've reacted to
Thank you.
Daydreaming. It's gonna definitely come out. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna aim it to come out at some point next week. I want to see if I can get this interview out this month. Worst case scenario will be the beginning of November, but
Right.
that's my aim. Hopefully, so in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
guys, it's been a pleasure. I thank you for having this opportunity for myself. It's great to get to know both of you and obviously see yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you
I,
for having us. For having us.
Yes,
no,
and
no
for giving
worries.
us the opportunity to meet up, discuss about the band, and talk to your audience as well.
Yeah,
We talk to you,
Yeah.
and we also talk to the audience. That is following you. So you're giving us a huge opportunity here, and we are very thankful for that.
yeah, yeah.
It's our first interview.
Amazing.
We should
Yeah,
say,
man.
right?
Outstanding. I'm trying to, my audience can be a bit stubborn. They're kind of like me. They're a bit stubborn. So
Stubborn.
I'm
Okay, it
trying to
feels
get
fine.
them to understand there's new things I want to do and there's new things to be interested in, and I want to make sure they like it. But yeah, so when people like what they like, which is fine,
Yeah.
perfectly fine. And
Yeah, yeah.
I love my
Yeah. Yeah.
audience, but yeah, they can be stubborn a bit. So hopefully, as
Yeah.
more interviews come, they start to like it a lot more. But yeah, no, it's been amazing, guys. I'm gonna obviously mention to my audience. So Kaiba Crew, Non-Linear. This is the band. This is obviously the lead singer George down below. Harsh vocals. You got Gus on my right side, who's the clean vocalist, as well as the guitarist. People do check out any of their socials, any up and coming events. Do check out their Instagram. I'm gonna put it all in the description down below, so you know everything. Daydreaming is now out. People go check that out. It's a must. I really like it, especially if you're a metalcore fan. Plus, they're from Greece, yeah? Expand your horizon. Check out the music internationally, people. They're an amazing band, amazing people, as you can tell, that I've just been speaking to. Very genuine, very nice, very honorable people. And yeah, just go check out their songs, go check out all their socials, follow them, support them. Go check out their Instagram. List goes on. This the interview over. I'm Kyrene with George and with Gus from Nonlinear. Peace.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.